Nawaz is a distinguished fellow at the Atlantic Council South Asia Center. I asked him how he thinks Afghanistan and Pakistan are going to react to President Trump's speech and his new strategy for South Asia.
There's a lot of detail that is still missing from how things will be done. Nobody still knows how long the U.S. is committed and how committed they are to the economic development and improvement of governance of Afghanistan. The U.S. has had a very clear notion about the military side. They want to build an army of 350,000 people. Now they're trying to build up a strong special forces group. But you don't win wars with special forces and with the military. You win wars by winning the people and creating opportunities for them and displacing the bad guys. We don't know what the plans are to displace the bad guys. In Pakistan, they don't know what the U.S. will do. Will it increase drone strikes, and will they go outside the border region of Fatah? If so, what does Pakistan do in return? The Pakistanis do have a greater leverage in that they can stop the ground line of communication, and they can also stop the air line of communication.
There was a book by David Loyne that he wrote back in 2009. It was called In Afghanistan. It was about 200 years of basically how Afghanistan has humbled and stymied a lot of world powers, Russia, England, and now the United States. And he was asked after the publication, what are some things Americans should know about Afghanistan? And he said, people in Afghanistan have different values and live in a different way than Americans. You shouldn't look at it through U.S. spectacles all the time. Is that one of the problems for U.S. foreign policy, that they continue to look at things with U.S. spectacles, that they don't really have a broad understanding of the region, Afghanistan and Pakistan?
To some extent, I agree with that. The U.S. did two things wrong. One, it tried to impose a central control. And they found in Hamid Karzai someone who wanted a central control. He wanted even to appoint the local headmasters in the province's schools. And so that took all the power away from the provinces to the center. Secondly, the U.S. wanted to get things done in a hurry. And so they shortchanged the whole process of decision-making, which in Afghanistan traditionally has been through tribal councils and jirgas, so everyone gets together, everybody talks, and then they reach some kind of consensus. That process was stymied, and so decision-making increasingly was done by the president sitting in Kabul. And this created tremendous discord and allowed the Taliban to use local grievances to establish support.
Let me close with a question that comes from the beginning. September of 2001, even before the war began, President Bush said, this conflict was begun on the timing of others. It will end in a way and at an hour of our choosing. I think Bush, Obama, and Trump all would have liked this thing to end at an hour of their choosing. That hasn't happened. Why?
I think a certain amount of modesty is required because you don't end conflicts like switching off the lights. You can do that, but you leave behind chaos, as we did before when we left. If the U.S. leaves precipitately, as it might, after being frustrated with progress in the region and in Afghanistan, it will leave behind more chaos, and it will actually allow the creation of a homeland for all the dissidents and insurgents and terrorists from around the world. It'll be open season.